A man offered to save his coworker's entire project with the simplest swap deal in corporate history. The coworker took the parts, refused to hold up his end, and told him to use the proper channels. So he did, word for word, and it cost that coworker everything. This one goes from petty to devastating real fast. Settle in. So I work in R&D, pre-series tech development, quality control, all that fun stuff. The kind of place where everybody needs specialized parts and nobody ever has enough of them. My project area is locked down tight. You don't get in without clearance, and you definitely don't touch my inventory without asking. A few days ago, my buddy Marco comes up to me looking stressed out of his mind. Hey, Derek has this time-sensitive test he needs me to run. We need specific parts, but we don't have any in-house. If we order them, they won't arrive until next Friday, and the project deadline is this Friday. Derek told me to come ask you. Already we're starting with my favorite workplace dynamic. Derek didn't come himself. He sent the guy everybody actually likes. That's not teamwork. That's hiding behind the popular kid in school. So I told Marco I'd check what I had. Went into my project area, did a quick count, and sure enough, I had exactly 2 of the parts they needed. Then I asked Marco, has Derek actually placed an order for new ones yet? Yeah, he had, but they wouldn't show up for another week, way past the deadline. So the next day, I hop on the email chain and lay out what I think is a perfectly fair offer. Derek, I've got 2 of the parts you need. I know this test is time sensitive, so here's my thinking. I'll hand them over to Marco right now. When your order arrives next Friday, you won't need them anymore because your test will be done. Just pass them my way. Simple. Swap. Could this deal be any more straightforward? Take mine now, give me yours later when they're just collecting dust. That's not even a favor. That's barely an inconvenience. A golden retriever would understand these terms. Derek's reply comes back. First line, thanks for the parts. And then, as for the new parts, I'm not in charge of ordering parts for your department. Please use the proper channels. I need everyone to sit with that for a second. This man is sinking. His project is 5 days from crashing into a wall. Someone builds him a bridge, asks for nothing unreasonable in return, and his answer is, actually, that bridge doesn't meet our infrastructure procurement guidelines. Please submit a formal bridge request. Let that sit. He took my parts, happily, both hands, no questions asked. But when it came time to hold up his end, oh, suddenly he's a bureaucracy enthusiast. Suddenly he's quoting company policy like it's gospel. You ever meet someone who only discovers the rulebook when it works in their favor? That's Derek. Derek memorized exactly 1 sentence from the employee handbook, and he's been waiting to use it. So I sat there staring at this email, and I had one of those beautiful moments of clarity. You know the kind, where everything goes quiet and you just know. I hit reply. Hello, Derek. Marco informed me you needed 2 parts to run a test. Unfortunately, I'm not in charge of ordering parts for your department. Please use the proper channels. Good luck. He sent the man's own words back at him, flipped the whole email around like a boomerang. That's not just malicious compliance, that is Shakespearean-level return to sender. I'm genuinely moved. Someone get me a tissue. And just like that, my parts stayed right where they belonged, in my project area, under my lock and key. Now, here's what you need to understand about Derek. This man has burned bridges with basically everyone in the building. The only shot he had at getting my parts was because Marco has good standing with people. Marco was the one pulling strings, using his connections, doing the legwork. Derek's whole plan was built entirely on Marco's reputation. So, Derek's entire survival strategy was let the likable guy fix everything and then spit in his face after. That's not biting the hand that feeds you. That's biting the hand, swallowing the fingers, and asking what's for dessert. And Marco and I, we talk every day. Full paper trail on everything. I was not about to let Marco take any heat for Derek's nonsense, because Derek is exactly the type to throw someone else under the bus the second things go sideways. And my people, things are about to go sideways. So, after getting my email, Derek did something I still cannot wrap my head around. I have gone over this a dozen times and I cannot make it make sense. Derek canceled his parts order, the backup parts that were arriving next Friday. Gone, canceled, to save his department money. He canceled the order? The parts that were his only backup plan? The ones that were literally the last thread holding this whole thing together? He canceled them to save a few bucks? That's like refusing to buy a fire extinguisher because you're on a budget. Your kitchen is on fire right now. But it gets worse. After canceling his order, Derek sent another reply saying he would gladly take my parts for free, and then my department could go ahead and order new ones if I still needed them. Let me make sure I'm hearing this right. I will take your stuff, cancel my own replacements, and then make you buy new ones on your budget. That's not a negotiation, that's a heist with a paper trail. At least a pickpocket has the decency not to send you a thank you note afterward. What Derek didn't know was that Marco and I had been talking the entire time. Every message, every email, every move documented. We were watching him dig his own grave, and we just let him keep shoveling. Friday comes, the deadline. Derek's boss, Henderson, calls a meeting. And the reason Henderson called this meeting so fast? Because Derek went to him beforehand, crying, actually crying, telling Henderson that Marco and I were sabotaging the project, that we were deliberately withholding parts so he would fail. He tattled. He actually tattled on the people he burned. Went to his boss with tears in his eyes, saying they won't let me have their stuff for free and it's not fair. The nerve, the sheer breathtaking nerve. So, Henderson calls the meeting. Derek walks in looking confident, like nothing is wrong. Marco speaks up first, lays everything out clean. And Derek's opening defense? Henderson, you told us to keep costs down. Costs down, right? So I kept them down. You said don't waste money on unnecessary purchases. I was doing what you told me. He pointed the finger at his own boss, in a meeting, with his boss sitting right there looking at him. That's a strategy the same way jumping off a cliff is a travel plan. When that fell flat, Derek moved to argument number 2. Marco never told me I needed to order those parts, which collapsed instantly because both of them were informed on the same day by Henderson himself. Same conversation. And as team lead, Derek was the one who was supposed to handle the ordering.
Nobody told me to do my job. Incredible! Truly incredible defense. I'm surprised he didn't go with, I wasn't even born when this project started. Then, Derek pulled out his last card. He claimed he had written approval from me to take my department's parts, free and clear, which is the exact moment I joined the meeting digitally and showed everyone my email, the one that clearly said, let's swap, not take them, not help yourself, swap. Every argument dismantled, live. It was like watching someone stack a house of cards during an earthquake. He just kept building excuses and they just kept crumbling. The email was right there. He sent it. Did he think nobody would check? So, here's how it all shook out. Derek, stripped of team lead, effective immediately. Marco, promoted to team lead, right there in the meeting. They can use my parts to finish the test, actually a day ahead of schedule, under 3 conditions. 1. Marco runs the show. I don't feel comfortable handing over my inventory if Derek has any involvement whatsoever. 2. My parts don't leave my department. Marco's team sets up their testing area in my workspace instead. And 3, the real cost of borrowing my space? Derek and Henderson have to sit in a meeting with my higher-ups and explain, face-to-face, why my project will be delayed. Oh, and here's the beautiful part. My project, it's actually not that time-sensitive. I told Derek it was, but I had wiggle room the whole time. They didn't know that. They didn't have that luxury. This person had a safety net the entire time and let Derek sweat like it was life or death. That is ice cold. I respect it deeply. And Derek? He's now buying 2 brand new parts out of his own budget. Those arrive in about 2 weeks. Life goes on. Derek probably won't be asked to lead anything for a long, long time. And word around the building is he might be getting the classic talk. You know the one. Wouldn't you rather spend more time with your family? We could set you up working from home. Reduced hours, reduced benefits. Which is corporate for, we can't stand looking at you, but the termination paperwork is a pain, so here's a slow fade to nothing instead. All right, let me break this down.
Gotta hand it to this person. Every move was surgical. The email offering the swap was clean, fair, and on the record. Keeping Marco in the loop the entire time with a full paper trail, that's not just friendship, that's armor. Joining the meeting at the exact moment Derek claimed written approval? Devastating. And then volunteering the workspace so the project still gets done, but under conditions that drag Derek through the mud. That's not malicious compliance, that's chess. But Derek, oh, Derek. This man had a lifeline, a perfectly fair deal. All he had to say was, sure, deal. 2 words. Instead, he got cute with corporate jargon. Then he canceled his backup parts. Then he tried to pin it on his boss. Then on Marco. Then on the guy who was trying to help him. He ran out of people to blame and he still didn't stop talking. That's not a bad week at work. That's a speed run of career destruction. I've never seen someone hit so many self-destruct buttons in 5 days. Now, me personally, I would have handled this completely differently. I would have agreed to give him the parts, wrapped them up real nice, walked them over myself, and then accidentally tripped on the way there. Oh no, they're broken. Guess we both have nothing now. That's called mutually assured destruction, and it's how I handle most of my professional relationships. Actually, don't take my advice. I've been fired 11 times. If you've ever had a coworker torpedo their own career right in front of your face, my loyal fans, drop that story in the comments. Every last detail. I want to sit here and judge it personally. Subscribe or don't, but we both know you'll be back the second someone else messes around and finds out. Hades out.